Have you ever found yourself in a situation where it felt like your choices weren't entirely your own? Maybe you sensed that someone was pulling the strings behind the scenes, making you make decisions or feel a certain way without you realizing it. Well, that could have been manipulation, and today we're going to talk about some heavy manipulation tactics that you need to know to protect yourself. A lot of people think manipulation is something explicit, but in reality, the most effective forms are subtle, almost invisible. In this video, I'm going to show you how to identify these tactics so you'll never fall into the traps of those who try to control you again. 1. Gaslighting. Definition. Gaslighting is a psychological manipulation tactic where the manipulator makes the victim doubt their own memory, perception, or sanity. They distort, deny, or contradict reality so persistently that the victim begins to question themselves, believing they are exaggerating, mistaken, or confused. It's a very subtle and dangerous form of manipulation because it slowly destroys the person's self-confidence, making them dependent on the manipulator to define what is real or true. How it works. The manipulator uses small distortions and constant denials of events. They go from denying trivial things to major events, repeatedly telling the victim they're confused, imagining things, or that it didn't happen like that. Over time, the victim feels lost, unable to trust their own judgment of situations. Example 1. Romantic relationship. Maria and João are arguing about something that happened last week. Maria clearly remembers João making a disrespectful comment in front of friends, but João vehemently denies it. Maria: "You humiliated me in front of everyone at the party when you said I was useless." João: "I never said that. You're making things up like always. You're getting paranoid." João persistently denies the event, making Maria start doubting her own memory, wondering, "Am I really overreacting? Did I imagine that?" Example 2. Workplace. Imagine you have a coworker, Pedro, who makes a disparaging remark about you in a meeting. Later you confront him about it. You: "Pedro, it was very unpleasant when you criticized me in front of everyone." Pedro: "I didn't say anything like that, you're crazy. Actually, I was complimenting your work. You need to pay more attention." Pedro distorts what happened and denies any negative comments, creating confusion in your mind. By doing this repeatedly, he undermines your confidence and makes you feel like you're always wrong. How to use gaslighting. Manipulative example. A person who wants to use gaslighting might intentionally start denying small facts to lay the groundwork. For example, if they lose an object, they might say, "I told you where it was, but you must have forgotten," even though they never mentioned it. Over time, this tactic escalates to bigger events, distorting conversations, arguments, and even emotions. 2. Projection. Definition. Projection is a tactic where the manipulator assigns their own faults, fears, behaviors, or emotions to the victim. The manipulator tries to transfer their negative feelings or attitudes onto someone else, avoiding responsibility for their own actions. It's a way to divert attention and put the victim on the defensive, accusing them of something that is actually a reflection of the manipulator's own behavior. How it works. The manipulator is experiencing feelings of guilt, shame, or inadequacy, and instead of dealing with those emotions, they project them onto the victim. For instance, if the manipulator is being dishonest, they may accuse the victim of lying. This creates confusion for the victim, who starts questioning their own behavior, while the manipulator deflects attention from themselves. Example 1. Romantic relationship. Ana is in a relationship with Lucas. Lucas has a history of flirting with other people but never admits it. One day, Lucas starts accusing Ana of cheating, even without any evidence. Lucas: "You must be cheating because you spend so much time on your phone and don't tell me who you're talking to." Ana, confused: "But I'm only talking to my sister, you know that." Lucas: "I don't believe you. You're hiding something." In reality, Lucas is projecting his own feelings of guilt for his inappropriate behavior onto Ana. By accusing her, he diverts attention from himself and puts Ana on the defensive. Example 2. Workplace. In the workplace, Imagine that Carolina frequently delivers tasks late and blames her colleagues for it. One day she accuses a colleague of being disorganized and unable to meet deadlines. Carolina, you're always late with your submissions, that's why the project never moves forward. Colleague, but I've met all the deadlines, you're the one who's always late. Carolina, lies. You're the disorganized one here. Carolina is projecting her own inefficiency onto her colleague, trying to deflect responsibility for her mistakes. How to use projection, manipulative example. If someone is feeling insecure about their own behavior, they might start accusing another person of that same behavior. For example, an insecure boss might accuse a subordinate of being incapable of making decisions, thereby avoiding dealing with their own shortcomings and making the other person feel inadequate. 3. The blame game. Definition. The blame game is a tactic where the manipulator makes the victim feel responsible for something that isn't their fault, or exaggerates their mistakes to create a sense of guilt. The idea is to manipulate the victim emotionally, creating a sense of debt, as if they're constantly owing something to the manipulator, which makes them give in and act according to the manipulator's wishes. How it works. The manipulator uses phrases that evoke feelings of guilt or obligation, often distorting the situation to make it seem like the victim is in the wrong, when in reality they're acting within their rights. This tactic can also involve exaggerating the sacrifices the manipulator made, making the victim feel inadequate or ungrateful. Example 1. Romantic relationship. Pedro always does everything he can to please his partner, João, but João is constantly dissatisfied. One day, João makes Pedro feel guilty for something simple, like going out with his friends. João, after everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me? Going out with your friends and leaving me alone? Pedro, I just wanted to see my friends, we spend so much time together. João, I always put you first, but you don't even care about how I feel. In this example, João exaggerates his sacrifices and makes Pedro feel guilty for something normal, like socializing with his friends. This causes Pedro to give in, distancing himself from his own needs. Example 2. Family. Imagine Anna, an adult woman, decides to move out of her parents' house to live on her own. Her parents, who are emotionally manipulative, begin to make her feel guilty about her decision. Parents, after everything we've done for you, raising you with so much sacrifice, this is how you abandon us? What if something happens to us? Are you going to leave us alone? Anna, but I need to live my life, I'm already an adult. Parents, you only think about yourself. It seems you've forgotten everything we did for you. By making Anna feel guilty about her natural decision to become independent, her parents try to control her choices and make her act according to their wishes. How to use the blame game. Manipulative example. A manipulator can use the blame game by constantly reminding the victim of past favors or sacrifices. For example, I gave up so much for you, now you owe me this. This puts the victim in a position of emotional debt, even when there's no real debt. 4. Intermittent reinforcement. Definition. Intermittent reinforcement is a tactic where the manipulator alternates between moments of affection, praise or rewards and moments of disdain, coldness, or punishment. This cycle of positive and negative reinforcement keeps the victim emotionally off balance, constantly trying to please the manipulator in hopes of receiving approval or affection again. How it works. By only occasionally providing rewards, attention, love, recognition, the manipulator creates an environment of uncertainty. The victim never knows when they'll receive a positive response, so they constantly try to please the manipulator, hoping to be rewarded. This behavior is similar to addiction, where the person becomes emotionally hooked to the manipulator, always expecting the rewards to return. Example 1. Romantic relationship. Carlos is in a relationship with Julia. For days, Julia treats Carlos coldly, ignores him, and makes him feel bad. Suddenly, she starts treating him with affection, complimenting him, and giving him attention. Julia, cold days, I need some space. You're always irritating me. Carlos, I don't know what I did wrong. Julia, sudden shift, I've been thinking you're really special to me. Let's go out for dinner tonight? This cycle of coldness and affection keeps Carlos emotionally trapped, always trying to figure out what he can do to deserve more moments of affection. Example 2, workplace. Imagine Laura works for a boss who sometimes praises her work and encourages her, but at other times ignores or criticizes her without any apparent reason. Boss, reward, your work on the last presentation was excellent. Keep it up. Laura, days later, without reason, did I do something wrong? My boss hasn't spoken to me all week. Boss, after a period of silence, I'm considering you for a promotion, but let's see how you perform over the next few months. Laura never knows what to expect, which makes her work even harder to try to please her boss and regain their approval. How to use intermittent reinforcement, manipulative example. A person can use this tactic by alternating between loving and distant behaviors. For example, in a relationship, the manipulator might ignore the victim for days and then surprise them with a gift or affectionate gesture. This creates an addictive emotional cycle where the victim is always waiting for the next good moment. 5. Creating a false sense of urgency. Definition. Creating a false sense of urgency is a tactic where the manipulator pressures the victim into making quick decisions or acting immediately, making them believe that there is a critical situation or opportunity that will vanish if they don't act fast. The goal is to prevent the victim from having time to think clearly, weigh options, or seek advice. How it works. The manipulator generates a sense of scarcity or imminent risk, creating a high-pressure environment. This prevents the victim from properly reflecting on the situation, leading them to make rushed decisions that benefit the manipulator. Phrases like, "It's now or never," or "This is your last chance" are common. Example 1, sales/marketing. This tactic is widely used in sales and marketing, where the salesperson or advertiser creates a sense of urgency to push the buyer into a quick purchase. Salesperson. This promotion is only valid until tonight. If you don't buy now, you'll miss out on this amazing deal. Customer. But I need some more time to think. Salesperson. If you wait too long, someone else will get it and you'll regret missing this opportunity. This pressure makes the customer make a hasty decision, without considering whether they really need or can afford the product. Example 2, romantic relationship. In a relationship, the manipulator may use false urgency to force significant commitments. Manipulator. If you don't move in with me by the end of the month, it means you don't really love me. Victim. But I still need to resolve some things, I'm not sure yet. Manipulator. I need an answer now. If you really care, you'll do this for me. By creating this false urgency, the manipulator pushes the victim to make a significant decision without having time to think about the consequences. How to use false urgency, manipulative example. A manipulator who wants to force a quick decision may create false deadlines or exaggerate the consequences of delay. For example, a boss might say, "If you don't accept this promotion today, I'll give the position to someone else. Think fast." This forces the victim to act impulsively, fearing they'll miss out on the opportunity. These manipulation tactics are extremely powerful and harmful because they operate on deep emotional and psychological levels. From gaslighting, which erodes a person's confidence in their own reality, to projection, which makes the victim feel guilty for faults that aren't theirs, all of these strategies have a common goal: control and domination. The blame game, intermittent rewards, and false urgency are subtle but effective ways of manipulating and weakening the victim, driving them to act according to the manipulator's interests. Recognizing these tactics is the first step to protecting yourself from them. Awareness is key to restoring control over your emotions and decisions. If you identify with any of these examples, know that it is possible to break free from this cycle. Surrounding yourself with support and seeking emotional clarity are essential steps to freeing yourself from these bonds. If you enjoyed this content and want to keep learning how to identify manipulation tactics and protect yourself emotionally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any new videos on psychology, human behavior, and how to deal with toxic relationships. Activate the notification bell, and, of course, if this video helped you, leave a like and share it with your friends so they can learn too. See you in the next video.